Well, at first, I was kind of shocked for a second. I go, well, he kind of backed into a corner. He's kind of backed into a corner. So there's these headlines floating around. Trump proposes 50-year mortgage plan as housing costs soar. The American dream may have just gotten a 5-decade payment plan. President Donald Trump has suggested creating a new 50-year mortgage plan as a way to encourage young people to buy real estate, according to a post on his Truth social platform. I don't need to read any more of that because I've got my comments already ready to go. Back during the Great Depression, the 30-year mortgage was created. So people didn't get kicked out of their homes. We could way lower your payments. Not pay it off, but we'll make it easier for you to stay in your house. And I remember hearing stories. My wife's uncle Pete told us a story, I think, where, and he died in, God, how old was he, 90-something? A few years ago. But, like 94 or something like that. And he talked about, well, you'd have a few families basically, like 10 people or so living in a house. And somebody had a job, at least 2 or 3 people had a job. Maybe not the rest of them, but those 2 or 3 could bring at least a little bit of money in and help keep things afloat. He told us that. And they'd have a lady that would come to your house that worked for the government to make kind of count heads and give you your little, basically the precursor to food stamps, you could say, and your allowances for food and stuff, but, government assistance. So if you had a house mortgage, back before that, it was very common for people to put 50% down on a house and have it paid off in like 5 or 10 years. And then the Depression hit, which again, the big giant 1929 stock market crash. And as you know, everything is pre-planned in advance, as usual. Wiped a bunch of people out. Tons of unemployment like you can't believe. People losing their houses left and right. So what do? The president says, well, we'll create a 30-year mortgage. That'll drop your payments way down. And of course, in the meantime, the banks will just keep collecting that interest for 30 years instead of 5 or 10 years now. So they're happy. They're collecting that interest from you. Once again, it's always the effing banks, privately owned banks, like the privately owned Federal Reserve that creates our money. It all stems from that borrowing nonsense system known as fractional reserve lending. And for each dollar that's created and printed, a piece of interest payment must be made to borrow that dollar. How do you get that if you just printed $1? I got to print another dollar, and I've got to borrow that dollar into existence also. And Trump's talking about paying the debt down with tariffs and this and that. I mean, how? How are you going to do that? All you're going to do is take all the money that's out there and bring it back home. All the foreigners that are holding our debt, bonds, you're just going to buy them. And again, what are you going to buy them with? More American dollars? What are they going to want for trade for those things? They're sitting on bonds. They want more of your American dollars. I had that dream about a new $50 bill sitting in my hand, and I could not find the word United States of America on it. I remember looking in the dream. Why can't I find that word anywhere? Maybe it's real tiny. I just missed it somewhere in the corner or the side. It was a different looking $50 bill, although you would recognize it as a normal currency. It wasn't some weird outlandish looking thing. It looked like some type of $50 bill, but not the type you've ever seen before because it hasn't come to existence yet. And it did not say United States of America. Therefore, I'm under the belief we're going to have a North American Union type of a situation. Mexico, Canada, U.S., whatever it is. And we've got this new currency. We cannot pay off officially that $35 trillion debt. Tariffs or no tariffs. It's just not going to matter. And I think Trump knows this, but he can only do what he can do. Right? Hey, here's the train. It's running off the track shortly, but you're the conductor now. See you, I'm out. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I got to keep the passengers, blinders on and let them know everything's going to be okay. I'm doing my best. But the edge of the cliff is right there. The train's going off the edge. Doesn't matter who the conductor is. The train was already on a predetermined set of tracks, like they typically are. Which is why this is a great analogy. So what is he doing? Forget the 30-year mortgage that we created out of the Great Depression so people wouldn't lose their houses. Let's create a 50-year. which means the economy is not doing as good as we think it is, and the numbers we hear and inflation has stopped, and which anybody knows that. You don't need me to tell you that. You can go look at your grocery bill, your gas bill, your electric bill, your any effing bill that have all gone up. And those of us, I shouldn't say us because I don't include myself in that, those people who are on fixed incomes, typically the older folks, they don't get a raise. Oh, we get 2% a year Social Security. Okay, that went up 15%, that thing went up 50%, that went up 20%. Whoa, but your monthly check went up 2% this year. Oh, great, fantastic. But in his situation, what do? Do you do nothing? Just leave the 30-year mortgage the way it is. How are young people going to be able to afford houses? How is anybody, young or not, going to be able to afford houses? Only if you have a house, because then you can sell your house for these high, outrageous, outlandish numbers to then go buy your own high, outrageous, outlandish numbered house to replace the one you just sold because we're moving over here. And the only time that typically works kind of okay is when you come from these democratic shitholes known as New York and California, where their prices are already way in advance telling us the future of how the country's going to go. Little shack for $2.2 million little shack next to, what? Well, they can sell their house, take their profit, come down to Florida or many other states and just go, oh, well, even your $500,000 house, which used to be $250,000, I could easily afford that because I made that, paid off my mortgage when I sold my house in California, and the profit I made, I've easily got that. Here you go. And now I get this house over here. But for those starting out, those people who were young, became adults, time to get married, whatever, time to move out, that doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop creating and processing and continuing. So they have to be able to afford a house. And like I said, my daughter Emily, Dad, I know you guys sent me to a trade school, cosmetology, but I'm calculating even if we were real busy all day, because I know how many haircuts I can do per day. And I think they want you to get down to around 15 minutes per haircut. Like if you can, first you're new, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 15. I think they want you around 12 or 15 minutes per haircut if you can. But she goes, even if I stayed busy, I'm calculating what I'm making. There's no way I could ever move out. And she's like, I've calculated, I think I need like $50 or $60 an hour, something like that, to live on my own. And I go, that's true, but nowadays, and even in my time, it wasn't real common to move out by yourself. You had to make a really good salary to be moving out by yourself. You still needed another person, whether that was a roommate, a friend, your wife, husband, whatever. You needed a partner, and typically you get married, and then you guys go get a house together. You're both working, you're both contributing, and still buying just as much as you can possibly afford in a neighborhood that's just barely above what you might call riffraff, or not as good as an area as I'd like to be in. Most people. So what does Trump have to do? If he does nothing, it's a doomsday scenario one way or the other, right? If he does the 50-year mortgage, which is absolutely absurd to think, in 50 years, what if you fall in hard times? I've been paying my mortgage for 41 years. I've got 9 years to go, baby, and I'm an old man now, Started paying when I was 20, and now I'm, 60-something. Hard times. Damn it, that bank foreclosed on me and took my house. 9 years to go. Shucks. Maybe I'll get him next time. There won't be a next time. You're effing in your 60s. You can't start life over at that point. I mean, you can, but you can't. You don't have another 50 years to put into a mortgage. So you would get a mortgage and then die at some point. Bank would get the house back, or maybe your relatives would take it. I don't even know. Someone's going to have to keep making that payment, though. I know that much. So this can't happen. This can't continue. 50-year mortgage or not. I can't see how this is sustainable in any way, shape, or form. Everything has to crash. I mean, we seriously need an everything crash. And I just feel like that dream I got over 2 years ago now about the market going to crash in April. Lady was crying her eyes out so bad. I stopped the car, got out. What's wrong? Are you okay? She looked up and I was waiting for her. The look on her face and the tears was like she just lost her newborn child. Like that's what I was expecting to hear based on her face, her emotion. And she says, they're going to crash the markets, or the markets are going to crash in April. That does not sound like an average crash. That sounds like a 1929 stock market type of crash. Or, 2000 era, 99, 2000 era bubble burst, tech bubble burst type of thing. And it's those types of things that are going to set the prices of everything else in motion, which 50-year mortgage or not, are going to come crashing down, I think. But Trump can't not do something. He's got to try while he can. And the only solution is that we got to extend the mortgages, make it a 50-year. And I saw a calculation, and it was like, this house in a 15-year or whatever fixed rate would be like $2,000 a month. If you got the standard 30-year, it's $1,500 something a month. If you got the 50-year, it's $12 something a month. Let's just make it even, $1,200, $1,500. $300 a month in savings. But you go from a 30-year mortgage to a 50-year to save $300 a month. Yeah, that's what it equaled. Whoa. But ask someone who's struggling if they could use $300 per month. And they'll say, yes, please. As many as you can give me. So doing nothing doesn't do anything. Doing something at least will do something. But it is, in my opinion, absolutely futile. The entire system must come crashing down. And I was fortunate enough, thanks to Spirit, Woo Dude, White Dove, Michelle White Dove, Theta, all this stuff, to get my freaking house paid off way in advance of this crap. I don't have to pay for insurance, which is absolutely outrageous in Florida, just like car insurance is. I got a quote. I don't think I want to throw numbers at you. Let me just do the multiples. Roughly 6 times. Roughly. Maybe we'll say 5 to 6 times. I inquired. Geico Insurance, it wouldn't matter who I called. All these vehicles I own, Florida, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty outrageous what I'm paying for 6 months. You could up your deductibles a little bit. I saved a couple grand in 6 months, and I was paying, I don't even want to say it. There's 5 digits. I was paying 5 digits, 6 months premiums. Full coverage. Yes, newer cars. Just out of curiosity, if I moved to New Mexico and I got these cars registered there, same everything, what are we looking at? I hear the lady, oh my God. What? You'd be paying 5 times to 6 times less than what you're paying right now. And their requirements, minimums are a little higher than Florida, so you'll actually get better insurance there. So everything I have now, plus a little bit better, for 5 times, we'll just say 5 times less than what I'm paying right now? Yeah, correct. 5 times less, that's car insurance. Enter homeowner's insurance. I didn't claim anything. Hey, Mr. Insurance Company, I didn't claim anything. It doesn't matter. Everyone else did who got the hit on the East Coast by that storm. Yeah, they got wiped out. We just raised rates because we can. But I didn't do anything wrong. No, I know. It's okay. We need the money because we got to pay huge payouts. But when we don't have to pay anything, we have huge payouts to our shareholders, huge payouts to our CEOs and executives and everybody else. But when you guys got to get paid out for your houses, we got to go tap that somewhere else because we're kind of tapped out. So we're tapping you schmucks. But guess what? When you own your stuff outright, you do not have to have full coverage, this coverage, that coverage, or even any coverage. Now in Florida, you got to have some coverage on your car no matter what, unless you have enough money in a bank account in a separate account. I think you need like $100,000 in there, in order to do that. I think Bill Gates found that out when he was young and was driving without insurance. There's a story about that. But you can get away with it ultimately. But you could also go, well, I'll just pay for jabroni level insurance. My car's paid for. The money I'm saving in insurance, I'll just buy another freaking car in a few years. Like what I was paying per month, I could have bought a new car in probably 2 months if I totaled one of the cars and didn't have any insurance, like let's just say, or basic coverage, and it was my fault. Oh, that's right. In 2 months, I'll have enough money to buy another car. What? I'm not talking about a nice fancy new car, but a new car. 2 months would have got me a pretty damn nice new car. And so I had to make some adjustments. So this isn't getting better. A 50-year mortgage is not going to... It'll slow the bleeding a microscopic amount, is in my opinion. So that's it for this video. I done said all I needed to say. Take care.